I now call to order the regular session meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Tarpon Springs on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2014 at 6:30. Roll call.
Mayor Archie?
Here.
Vice Mayor Larson?
Here.
Commissioner Tarpon is absent and excused. Commissioner Banther?
Here.
Commissioner Sieber.
Here.
Tonight's invocation will be given by Reverend Wayne Farrell of All Saints Episcopal Church. Will everyone stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance following?
O Lord, bless all those who give themselves to you in service to their fellow men. Grant them clear vision, true judgment, and great daring as they seek to do your will by governing your people. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now go to public comments on any item that will not be discussed this evening.
Good evening, Anita Prost, 901 Bay Shore Drive. Now is the time when all our tourists are here, and they're starting to come down. I'd like to see Main Street get some more planters in front of our established old-time businesses. They don't see all of them on Hibiscus. You've got more. Also, a tree was cut down. The stump has been there for quite a while. We need to clean up Main Street for the tourists who come in. The second thing is I'd like to see the city adopt an ordinance like St. Pete has done about the young men wearing their pants below their behinds, showing their underwear. It doesn't look nice. What I saw on the trail yesterday, some young men doing it with no shirts on, and we have tourists. It isn't presentable in our community. So if St. Pete can have an ordinance, I'd like to see the city have one to sort of back up St. Pete that hasn't been challenged yet, to let them know that we're not going to tolerate vulgarity that way on our streets. It's funny when you see it, but it's not funny because people from out of town are here, and they're looking at that. You go to the shopping centers and Walmart the other night, he tripped because his pants were so low. It's not a way to present yourself in the city of Tarpon Springs. So, Mr. Mayor and our city attorney and our city manager, we need to work on an ordinance like St. Petersburg because they're having success with it to clean up the community. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure why you call my name, and maybe because I'm a young man that have my pants sagging, or my old man with my pants sagging. Any other public comments?
Yeah.
Seeing none, I'd just like to announce that items 12A and B regarding Eunice Drive were deferred until the next meeting on Tuesday, December 16, 2004, and that's discussion decision on whether to proceed with project, and B is Part A, approve the authorized staff to proceed to bid design phase. That's deferred until Tuesday, December 16th, 2014. With that, we go to presentation. Item number 1, Mayor's Fitness Challenge, Mr. Dolan and Mr. Lemons.
Hello, Karen Lemons, Economic Development Manager, and Craig Dolan, who is our City Recreation Supervisor. And we are here and very pleased to present and announce a new program for health and wellness in the city, and it's called the Mayor's Fitness Challenge. We are here to make fitness fun and get everybody to commit to a healthy lifestyle in 2015. It's a self-improvement program that is really aimed at getting people to think more about their lifestyles and also to lose body fat and lose some weight. It's a 10-week program. We're launching it on Monday, January 12th, with an event at the Rec Center, and Craig will be talking about that. It's a perfect time right after the holidays, and I think it's a time when everybody is most committed to doing some type of exercise. We see the Fitness Challenge as really an extension of our other wellness programs that we have in the city, and we're looking at this as a way to make Tarpon Springs one of the most fit cities in the state of Florida. We currently have the City Health Clinic that is really popular with employees and provides us easy access to doctors. We have a Weight Watchers at Work program, which is in its 18th week right now, with about 20 employees who have collectively lost more than 300 pounds. And now with this fitness challenge, this is a great opportunity for us to extend that even further. This is a program of Fit America, PHIT, which stands for Personal Health Investment Today, but it's pronounced FIT, F-I-T. It's a nationwide organization that was created in 2013, made up of organizations that are all committed to health and wellness. So it's a pretty new program. We are aware of 2 cities on the east coast of Florida that have been doing a fitness challenge for the last couple of years, but we think we're the first one on the Gulf Coast, and we want to be the first and the best. Our presenting sponsor is Florida Hospital North Pinellas. We wouldn't be able to do this without them. They're not only our sponsor, but they're also our partner in this venture. They're doing the initial weigh-ins for us, full blood and lipid screening, so people will have some baseline data when they start and then also when they finish. They're also going to be offering a menu of classes like nutrition, smoking cessation, weight management, and then PT Solutions, which is a physical therapy company that contracts with the hospital, is going to be doing rehab efforts, some on-site diagnostics, tips on overcoming nagging injuries. So as people start getting into walking and running, they'll have some training on how to get the right shoes and how to overcome any injuries that they might have and not drop out of anything. We also will have a variety of fitness classes and activities each week that Craig will be explaining. We're hoping to have most of those in our parks, Craig Park, Sunset Beach, and our new fitness park, so we can take advantage of the beauty of our parks and show everybody a little bit of our city as well. And then it will culminate with a 5K run walk at the end of the 10 weeks, and we'll have some prizes for top weight loss, both in pounds and percentages. It'll be open to anyone who either lives or works in Tarpon Springs. We want to get a lot of participation from our city employees. We're trying to get teams from companies so that they can have a team effort and make a competition, make it a lot of fun. And we're hoping through the goal of 10 weeks, people stay with it and sustained activities that they may, it'll end in March. They may go on to do the Beach to Bayou 5K or even in September for the Rotary Triathlon. And then I'd just like to thank the Board of Commissioners for their commitment to health and wellness and the things that you are sponsoring and offering. And it makes a big difference in the quality of life for the city and another way of helping to promote Tarpon Springs. So with that, I'll turn it over to Craig, and he'll give you more of the details about all the activities.
Thank you, Karen. As she was saying, Florida Hospital North Pinellas is our partnering sponsor. So on our opening day, which is January 12th, we're actually going to invite all our partners that we have this year to come out to the community center. All the participants get an initial weigh-in, and then throughout the week, actually, they can go to the hospital and get their blood drawn and get a full workup from the hospital, which was very beneficial to anyone trying to lose weight and get to that healthier lifestyle. We partnered with 3 gyms in Tarpon: Tarpon Total Fitness, Anytime Fitness, and Snap Fitness. They all have agreed to give the free 10 weeks to all participants, which is fantastic. Participants get to choose which gym they want to use during the 10 weeks. And if you're already a member of those gyms, unfortunately, we are not waiving their fee for the 10 weeks. We cannot do that. But the fee is minimal. It is $25 to participate. Like I said, you get the free 10 weeks at the gyms. You get a t-shirt. You get the free pre and post workup. You have the chance to win a lot of prizes at the end. We have free classes throughout the 10 weeks. So Snap Fitness has agreed to do 2 classes a week out at Craig Park at 7 a.m., which is fantastic for the early birds. They can go and get a workout. Anytime Fitness has agreed to do classes throughout the 10 weeks out at different parks. Like Karen was saying, we're going to use the fitness park. Hopefully we could spread it out throughout all our parks, so Sunset, hit the sports complex, even Highland Nature Park, because there's a nice little hill there to do a workout on. So we're hoping that gets in. Healthy classes. We do have some restaurants that are interested in partnering with us and hopefully offering healthy choices throughout the 10 weeks and then moving forward. We also have, we're hoping, it's still in the works of getting a chef to actually do healthy cooking classes either at the restaurant or at the community center, because we do have a full kitchen at the community center. So we have a lot of things. Our overall goal is to make someone healthy. We're not looking to just lose weight, because you could lose weight and then 2 weeks later it could be back on. I do it every Christmas. So we're trying to get it so that if you're gonna start it, let's keep it going and teach you ways to make your life better. If it's quitting smoking, or if it's just working out 1 day a week, it's just to change your lifestyle instead of creating this whole diet fad. So we hope that all of you on the board will come out and join us. We know we'd love to see you out there. The mayor is definitely on board, which is nice since it's his fitness challenge. So he will be out there leading the pack.
I know you're not waiting for a response.
But we want to thank you for your support, and we look forward to having you out there.
Well, I just want to personally thank Craig and Karen and Florida Hospital for their commitment, those fitness centers that have committed. There's still opportunities for businesses that want to partner and sponsor this type of event. The name and logo will be on the back of the shirts, those type of things. But as was stated, this is just an opportunity for all of us, including myself, to get a little bit more fit, trying to promote wellness. One of the things that we talked about, we haven't agreed and decided upon it yet, is that I might go to the elementary schools and lead the PE classes, you know, because I think that I can stay with those young people for a little while. And just trying to get them more involved, and hopefully they'll help their parents to get involved, so this can be a community-wide event, something that we'll all enjoy. And they talked about prizes. We're talking about a cash prize for those that lose the most weight, and percentage of weight, and even the teams. And I don't know, Karen, we decided as far as the teams getting a reduced rate for those 10 people at $200, so they could save $50, and it will be a chance for you to get a group together to help to encourage you to stay involved. Sometimes we need some encouragement to continue to do what we would like to do. So I'm really looking forward to it. Just trying not to lose too much weight now, so that in the end maybe I can win, you know. Now, not like Karen is doing already. You can tell that she's already started her workout in terms of just trying to be more fit. But thank y'all for your effort. You can
Mayor, I did forget one thing.
Go ahead.
You can register on active.com, or you can stop by the rec center on Walton Ave to register. So the good thing is, if you are, for all city residents, which is nice, if you don't have a recreation card, we actually give you a free rec card with joining up for this fitness challenge. So come on down, see us, and we hope to see you out there on January 12th.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Any public comments on this item? Mr. Comments? Thank you. We look forward to it. Item number 2 is Public Art Committee. I'm not sure if the whole committee is going to talk.
Good evening, Lynn Pearson with the Tarpon Springs Public Art Committee. I'm here to introduce a special presentation tonight. We will not have the whole committee speaking, which I think will make it a little bit easier for you, but I do guarantee you will enjoy this presentation. It has been put together by Suzanne Murphy and Denise Manning of the committee. They have spent quite a number of hours creating something that I think you will find pretty exciting in terms of our next effort after the mermaid, and this is connected with a mermaid, as a matter of fact. And I think you will find it something that everybody in the town will be able to get involved in and enjoy. So thank you for having us here tonight, and enjoy the presentation.
Good evening. Suzanne Murphy, 1505 East Tessier.
Tonight, I do speak for the whole Public Art Committee. And we will be outlining the Tarpon Springs Capital Campaign, which will go forward early in 2015. But before I do that, we've put together a short, I assure you, a short slideshow to share mermaid moments that have led to this beautiful presence in Craig Park. Photo credits include Sue Thomas, Philip Jepson, Bill Vinson, Suzanne Murphy, and Brooks Fountain. So enjoy the show. The very beginning. They dug a hole. And there is our Tom Funchen with his shovel.
A stage photo.
Then there came the unveiling. April 1. That's what it looked like. Public Art Committee, Philip Jepson, Sue Thomas. And look who's there, our city manager. She had layers and layers. The unveiler is a board member, Renee Torres. And there she was, 6'4", Tom Funchen, Sue Thomas, and something we had not planned was a boat full of admirers. They just happened by. Then there was the welcome and dedication on April 9. Lots of people came. Jeff Larson. We had a harpist. I wish you could have been there. That is Amaryllis, the artist who created the mermaid. Philip Jepson, who brought us the project. And there they are together, good friends. Kathleen Monahan introduced Jeff Larson, who spoke and welcomed everyone. Lynn Pearson, the chair of the Public Art Committee, and I gave the dedication speech. And then came the children. This was the best part of all. We had baskets full of rose petals, and after I spoke, they gathered at the mermaid and started tossing rose petals over her. It was very joyful. And the ground was covered with rose petals by the time we finished. And then there was a spontaneous dance around the mermaid. And then we gathered for a reception at the Heritage Museum. Lisa Sibley, another board member, arranged for the food. Everyone got a chance to meet and talk to the artist. And Rebecca Rose played the piano for us. It's a little dark, but Marlene Gravitz was there. And here is the committee and all the people involved in getting the mermaid to Tarpon Springs. It was a nice little celebration. And now I would like to introduce our Challenge Grant donors. I don't know if you know them, Curtis and Rebecca Rose. They're Rotarians. They could not be here tonight, but they're here in spirit. They are donating $10,000 to start us off with our campaign. And it came about from a presentation that we made to Rotary way, way back before the mermaid was ever installed. And Curtis Rose came to us and said, I'd like to do this. So, Ignited by the $10,000 challenge grant from the Roses, the TSPAC has created a capital campaign that we believe will reach out into our community and inspire donors, large and small, to match the Roses' generous gift and give the Alma Mermaid a permanent home on the bayou. I believe in your folder you have a list of components of the campaign, but I just want to run through them quickly. Of course, the big component is the Roses $10,000 challenge grant, but we are establishing a new web page for the public art program on tarponarts.org, and the design stage, it's in the design stage at the Department of Cultural Services. It will be used to educate about and promote the public art program, the capital campaign, and the Art for Charity project. We'll use the site to solicit new TSPAC members and project volunteers, of which we already have more than a handful. It will be used to display images of all public art projects and to explain, really importantly, the campaign donor options. For instance, we will have PayPal available on the Tarpon Arts site. Checks to the city, cash donations, there'll be mermaid donation boxes around town in safe places, and we will also use that webpage to acknowledge our donors. And speaking of donors, we have a new donor agreement that is in the approval process with City Council. We are creating the Alma Mermaid campaign video with voiceover. It will be used as a commercial for the campaign. Organizations will be able to request a copy to show to their members, or perhaps we will go there and show it for them, and it will be put on the webpage. And we will probably show it, loop it at TSPAC booths, which we intend to put up at special events around Tarpon Springs. We are probably going to create a life-size or almost life-size cardboard cutout of the Alma Mermaid to put around town and use at the booth, and just to help generate interest in donations. And we're considering a t-shirt with a public art and environmental message, and the possibility of getting a corporate sponsor for those t-shirts. We're going, of course, to have to choose 501c3s to receive a total of $6,500 plus of the Art for Charity purchase donation. I don't remember, or I don't know if you remember that a third of the Art for Charity purchase, the $20,000 that the Mermaid costs, will come back into our community through a donation by Kohinoor, the sponsor. And we thought it would be a good idea to offer a grant application to Tarpon Springs 501c3s to find out who is doing what and what kind of funding they need, and then we will choose the applicants, multiple applicants, to fund. We're going to update and reprint the public art program brochure to include the Art for Charity project, the Mermaid, and new members, and upcoming projects. And we're going to be sending out a lot of press releases to announce the capital campaign, the challenge grant, the new public art program webpage, and the Mermaid campaign video. By the time we have reached our purchase goal of $20,000, we would like for everyone in Tarpon Springs to feel a sense of ownership for this public art project. The promontory where the Mermaid stands is already being called Mermaid Point. The Alma Mermaid now graces the cover of the new fundraiser Women's Club cookbook, and the Mermaid was recently the subject of a plein air painting workshop in Craig Park. Our board member, Renee Torres, has completed a lighting and landscaping plan, which is now under review by city staff. Ideally, this plan would be implemented by the time we kick off our campaign early next year. Do you have any questions about the campaign, or any other questions for the committee?
I don't have any other commissioners might. I just want to thank you, the whole committee, for your efforts, that not only to bring this here, but to spearhead this so that we might be able to keep this mermaid as a fixture here in Tarpon Springs. So I don't know, do you have anything that you?
No, thank you. I was there at the unveiling. It was beautiful, and
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
we
too
just
much
wanted to
success.
include you in all those moments because I know most of you couldn't be there. In conclusion, I just want to announce that we have 2 vacant seats on the committee, and we would welcome any applications from anyone who's interested in serving on behalf of public art. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any public comments on this item? Well, thank you again, and we know that the campaign will be successful.
I just have one more slide.
Oh, okay.
Bill Vincent took this picture. The mermaid is reflected in the water at sunset. Isn't that gorgeous? You'd probably have to go closer to pick her out. She's
Yeah, you
kind
know
of
these bad
to the,
eyes.
she's just to the left of the big tree that's reflecting. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll go to our consent agenda. Satisfaction release of liens, Thomas Sizemo Gonzalez hearing PA invoice 77672, 77835, and 77836. Renew RFP number 130023 PCM Insurance Program, Life and Long-Term Disability, increase file number 140080-N-DM Programmable Logic Controllers and Name Change, Southern Electric, DBA Rexel. Any items anyone would like to pull? Chair will entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any public comments on any of these items? Roll call?
Commissioner Sieber,
Yes.
Commissioner Banther?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Larson?
Yes.
Mayor Archie?
Yes. Special consent agenda, item number 7, award bid number 150022-B-JJ RO concentrate injection well pipeline.
Again, this is, the reason it's on there is strictly because of the monetary value of it. It's obviously for the new water plant. So it's put on special consent because of that basis.
Any questions anybody have on it?
I move for approval.
Second.
Any public comments on this item? Roll call?
Commissioner Sieber,
Yes.
Commissioner Banther?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Larson?
Yes.
Mayor Archie?
Yes. Ordinance and resolution, item number 8, ordinance 2014-17, application 14-66, amended right-of-way vacation for Bay Shore Heights, first reading.
Mr. Mayor, ordinances and resolutions, items 8 through 11 are all quasi-judicial, so at your direction, I will read the quasi-judicial announcement first, and we can take them item by item, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
As I mentioned, items 8 through 11 on the agenda are quasi-judicial nature. These are proceedings where the commission acts in a quasi-judicial rather than a legislative capacity. At such a hearing, it is not the commission's function to make law, but rather to apply law that has already been established. In a quasi-judicial hearing, the commissioner is required by law to make findings of fact based upon the evidence presented to it at the hearing and apply those findings of fact to previously established criteria contained in the code to make a legal decision regarding the application before it. The commission may only consider evidence at the hearing that the law considers competent, substantial, and relevant to the issues. If that evidence demonstrates that the applicant has met the criteria established by the code, then the commission is required by law to find in favor of the applicant. By the same token, if that evidence demonstrates that the applicant has failed to meet the criteria established in the code, then the commission is required by law to find against the applicant. There is an established procedure which will be followed at these hearings. All witnesses must give their testimony under oath. All persons testifying must give their name and address for the record. All testimony and questioning must address matters that are relevant and material to the issues under consideration. The city staff will present its testimony and evidence first. The applicant will then have an opportunity to cross-examine city staff. The applicant will then present its testimony and witnesses. City staff will have an opportunity to cross-examine the applicant's witnesses. Members of the public opposing the application will be given an opportunity to present testimony. After all members of the public speaking in opposition to the application have concluded, members of the public in support of the application will have the opportunity to present testimony. Each member of the public is limited to 4 minutes of testimony. The applicant will then have an opportunity to make a closing argument or summary, after which city staff will be given an opportunity to make a closing argument or summary. Following this, the commission will consider the matter. Commissioners may ask questions of witnesses at this point, and a motion will be made and a vote will be taken. At this juncture, I would ask for the commission to disclose any ex parte communications on any of the 4 applications before us tonight. Seeing none, I'd ask for any person who intends to testify tonight on any of the 4 applications to please stand and be sworn. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Agenda item 8 is ordinance 2014-17, an ordinance of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, vacating and abandoning right-of-way for portions of Cajaput Way and DeSoto Way between Loquat Drive and Bayshore Drive, providing for conditions, providing for findings, providing for future easements, providing for recordation in the public records of Pinellas County, and providing an effective date. That's the first reading of ordinance 2014-17 by title only. Second reading will be held on December 16, 2014, and will be published in the Tampa Bay Times by title only on December 5, 2014.
Steve.
Mayor and Commissioners, Dave Healy on behalf of your city staff. You probably thought you'd heard enough of me last time on Bayshore Heights, but we needed to come back to you and request a small adjustment to the vacation for Cajaput Way and DeSoto Way. The adjustments necessitated based on the last site plan that you saw, where they in fact are going to loop Cajaput Way and DeSoto Way as opposed to 2 separate dead-end streets. That required a small additional amount of vacation in order to accommodate the curvilinear nature of the 2 proposed street connections. Staff has gone through this, even though it's minimal, and looked at each of the review criteria. There are 4. Have determined that in each case the application meets those criteria. Specifically, the subject property is not needed for the distribution, expansion, or maintenance of existing or future utility service in the portion of the right-of-way being vacated. The property does not provide the sole means of access to an adjoining property. The property is not needed to implement the future circulation plans of the transportation element. And the property does not provide the adjoining neighborhood with a viable, usable access or vista to the city shoreline. So for all of those reasons, the city staff recommends that the application for amended variance be approved. Staff had calculated this additional right-of-way in the original determination of the application fee. The $19,384.43 does include this additional small amount of vacated right-of-way. And with that, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have of me.
Any questions, Mr. Ely? Any public comments on this item? Chair will entertain a motion.
No, you need applicant. Mr. Danielson, do you wish to present? Members of the public.
Move for approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Sieber,
Yes.
Commissioner Banther,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Larson,
Yes.
Mayor Archie.
Yes. Item number 9 is ordinance 2014-18, application 1433 vacating a portion of Pine Street right-of-way east of US 19 to Jasmine Street. First reading.
Ordinance 2014-18, an ordinance of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, vacating right-of-way for a portion of Pine Street, providing for recordation of the public records of Pinellas County, and providing an effective date. It's the first reading of ordinance 2014-18 by title only. Second reading will be held on January 27, 2015, and published in the Tampa Bay Times by title only on January 16, 2015.
Mayor and Commissioners, Dave Healy again. This request for a vacation of Pine Street right-of-way is part of an application by Lindiakos Properties for a site plan and development of this property in its entirety. This is a request for first reading of the ordinance to vacate the right-of-way. As the city attorney pointed out, the second reading wouldn't be held until your second meeting in January to allow time for the site plan to continue through the review process before the Planning and Zoning Board and ultimately bring that to the commission at the same time as the second reading in order that you're looking at the project in its entirety. We did review the application for vacation consistent with those same four criteria in your code. I will point out a couple of corrections to the staff report. The subject property is not needed for the distribution, expansion, or maintenance of existing or future utility systems. However, if you noted in the backup, both Verizon and Duke indicated a contingency that they wanted provision to accommodate the relocation or accommodation of the utilities that are currently there, and the applicant can speak to that and apparently has been in touch with them, and that will be done as part of the overall project. The property does not provide the sole means of access to an adjoining property. It is not needed to implement the future circulation plans of the transportation element, and it certainly does not provide the adjoining neighborhood with a viable, usable access to the city's shoreline. And so for all of those reasons, we recommend approval at first reading of the vacation for Pine Street. We do note that it talks about an adoption of an ordinance. In fact, the site plan that will be brought to you correspondent with the second reading of the vacation would be done by resolution. That went to the Planning Board in November, scheduled preliminarily to be continued to their December meeting. We met at length with the applicant yesterday. It may in fact be delayed for additional reasons to the first meeting of the Planning Board in January, but the anticipated schedule would currently bring that back to you again at the same time as the second reading of the vacation on January 27th. And I'll be glad to try and answer any questions there are about this vacation. I did not mention, I should have, I meant to, the staff has calculated the preliminary value for the application fee. The applicant's percentage of that application fee for the vacation would be $34,593.58. Of course, consistent with your requirements of your vacation ordinance.
Questions? Does the applicant wish to make a presentation?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Bill Conrad. I'm the agent for Lindiakis Properties for the applicant, and basically we just want to thank staff and for the good work that they've done with us, and look forward to continuing to work with them. And we're in agreement with the fees calculated for the payment of the right-of-way. And just if there are any questions, but preferably would like to keep it short.
Are there any members of the public wishing to speak in opposition to the application?
I'd like to just say one thing, too.
Please.
My name is Manuel Lindiakis. I live at 773 Antelope Landings Drive. Again, I'd like to thank the staff. They came in just recently with a lot of things to do, and thank God we sorted most of them out, and we've been working together on all the issues, and want to just thank the recommendation today, and we look forward to bringing the site plan to you next month, and look forward to starting the project. I think most of the members here have been involved in this thing since the big crash we had, and now it looks like things turned around, and we're ready to get it going, and we look forward to building a nice project for Tarpon Springs and make the city proud. Thank you.
Again, members of the public in opposition to the application. Members of the public wishing to speak in support. Closing statements by either party.
Chair will entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Sieber,
Yes.
Commissioner Banther?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Larson?
Yes.
Mayor Archie?
Yes. Item number 10 is Resolution 2014-35 application 14-43 conditional use 735 Decanese Boulevard, number 53 and number 54. Gazamides
Resolution 2014-35, a resolution of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, approving application 14-43 for the on-premise consumption of beer and wine for property located at 735 Dodecanese Boulevard, number 53 and 54, providing for findings, providing for an effective date. It's Resolution 2014-35 by title only.
Thank you. Again, this is application 14.43. It's a conditional use for a Series 2 COP license to serve beer and wine for on-premise consumption. The applicants are George and Katina Scandalaris. This is for Katina's Market, which is located within the Sponge Exchange. The market is to the left as you walk into the exchange. It's in the units that are original to the original Sponge Exchange, located between Tarpon Sponge and Anclote Brew. The applicants currently have a license to sell beer and wine for off-premise, and they're wishing to expand that to add the 2 COP so they can have people enjoy a glass of wine or beer on their patio location. The surrounding, the zoning and land use is compatible. It's located in the special area plan T5C zone. Surrounding zoning and existing uses are compatible. It's within the Sponge Docks tourist area, which, as you know, have several establishments that offer alcoholic beverages. And are several standards for review. I won't go through all of them. Many of them are not applicable or not anticipated. It does conform to all the requirements of the Comprehensive Zoning and Land Development Code. It is not located within 200 feet of any church or school of general education. The application has been reviewed and approved by the Technical Review Committee, and it was heard by the Planning and Zoning Board on November 17th and unanimously approved, and staff recommends approval as well.
Any questions for Ms. Lemons?
Vice Mayor?
I don't have any questions. I just want to state, first of all, that I completely support the application. And I just thought this would be a good opportunity for me to reiterate my thought that, and I know Ms. Lemons has brought this forward as well, that it might be time for us to look at changing the process for COP applications. It's possible that this application and other COP applications could be handled through administrative review as opposed to coming through planning and zoning and the BOC. So again, I completely support this application, and I just wonder if maybe we need to, and I'm not sure what the timeline is because I know we've talked about this before, but I wonder if it's time that we really revisit the procedure for COP applications.
Happy to bring that forward.
Yes, and we were planning on bringing it forward after the first of the year.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Does the applicant wish to make a presentation of any kind?
Folks, good evening. George Casimides on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Scandalaris. We'll solely rest on the application, but I just want you folks to know that the Scandalaris have been residents of Tarpon Springs for more than 30 years. They've been down in Tarpon Springs operating Katina's Mart for a little over six or 7 years, and as you folks may know, there are more and more businesses down in Tarpon Springs that, for example, every first of the week they'll do some events down in Tarpon Springs, and oftentimes that drums up more business for a lot of the local businesses, and this is just a way way they could participate in that sort of situation. So based upon that, and obviously we rely on the application and hope that it does get approved.
Sir, could I ask you to put your address on the record, please?
Absolutely. My business address is 905 East Martin Luther King Junior Drive, Suite 630, Tarpon Springs, Florida, 34689, and I've been at that address for about 8 years.
Questions? Any members of the public wishing to speak opposing the application? Members of the public in support?
Anita Prost, 901 Bay Shore. Mr. and Mrs. Scandalaris for years have had a very outstanding, fine business in the sponge exchange. They've never had any problems. In fact, they do policing themselves of the surrounding area. They're honorable people. They run a fine business, and they should be able to have this when the restaurants have it outside on their patios. They've been very good citizens in Tarpon, has worked with the city on many, many events, many programs that we've had, and they've shown their ability to work as very professionals. It's very clean. It's just sad that they can't cook there because they're excellent cooks, as you can tell by all of us. But she knows how to run a very honorable, clean business, and I, as a citizen, support them very much on this effort. Thank you.
Other members of the public wishing to speak in support of the application? Seeing none, does staff or the applicant wish to make a closing summary or presentation? Mr. Mayor.
Chair will entertain the motion.
I move for approval.
Second. Roll call?
Commissioner Sieber,
Yes.
Commissioner Banther?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Larson?
Yes.
Mayor Archie?
Yes. Item number 11, resolution 2014-36, application 1456, site plan Windrush North Phase 3.
Resolution 2014-36, a resolution of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, approving application 14-56 for site plan approval for a .55 acre parcel, more or less a portion of the 4.61 acre Windrush North 3 condominium located west of Seaside Drive and north of Samos Court, providing for findings, providing for conditions, and providing for an effective date. It's Resolution 2014-36 by title only.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. This is a request for site plan approval. It's a small infill project for a portion of the vacant site at Windrush. It involves some proposed 10 condominium units that will complement and complete the Windrush 3 North part of that project. As the city attorney mentioned, it's only a little over half an acre, but part of a larger 4.61 acres of the Windrush North 3 parcel. The land use and zoning is identified here. The land use plan is residential urban, which allows a maximum of 7.5 units per acre, which is what it is zoned. Exhibits 3 and 4 in your backup show the existing plan and zoning maps if we want to refer to them. It is surrounded by both additional residential urban, some residential medium, and some residential low land use designations. The 10-unit multifamily development is located on a vacant remaining parcel that is part of the Windrush development between Florida Avenue and the Gulf of Mexico. The site plan consists of 2 buildings. There's 8 units in one of the buildings and 2 units along with a clubhouse in the second building with an internal courtyard that complements the project. We went back as staff and looked at the total Windrush project to make sure this fit not only in terms of its compatibility, but in terms of overall density. There's a little over 17 acres for the total complex, 14.6 acres, as I mentioned, attributable to Windrush North 3. There are 108 existing units. With the addition of these 10, the total density is just under 7 units, 6.88 units per acre within the permitted zoning density. We've looked at the elevations there with respect to floodplain elevation. The first floor elevations are all going to be at 13.5 feet above and outside of the AE zone. Parking is provided at the required ratio of 1.75 spaces per unit, and the accompanying application materials describe not only the site plan, but some of the elevations that give you a feel for the character and quality of the project. We have reviewed the project consistent with the criteria in the code and found it to comply. We cited some specific policies that I think are worthy of note with regard to the land use element in particular. I would point you to policy 2.42 of your comprehensive plan, which talks about proposals which promote discouraging projects which promote proliferation and urban sprawl, and rather encourages those use of infill and vacant properties, which is exactly the nature of this project that is proposed. We did also note, however, there are policies in your plan that speak to encouraging pedestrian access and provision of sidewalks. We've noted those policies, 4.15, 16, and Objective 4.6, and as a result of looking at those, have recommended as a condition of approval an additional sidewalk extension in front of the clubhouse and to the north property line, which I believe the applicant is okay with. We'll let him speak to that. We did then review it consistent with the comprehensive plan, your code, the concurrency management requirements. Technical Review Committee evaluated and found it compliant with all of those provisions. The Planning and Zoning Board reviewed the application on November 17th and recommended approval by a vote of 4-0, subject to the recommended condition for the additional sidewalk. The public comment is noted there. I believe the applicant's representatives are here tonight and can speak to that themselves. So with that, I'll try and answer any questions the commission has.
Does the applicant wish to present tonight?
Good evening. My name is David DeBow. I live at 2951 Wentworth Way in Tarpon Springs.
My name is Gary Boucher with Ozona Engineering, 1095 Indiana Avenue, Palm Harbor.
I'm here to, first let me tell you that we're excited about this project. I do live in Tarpon Springs, and we spent a lot of time developing a plan that I think enhances what is existing there now. In addition, we did make the adjustment, I believe, on the sidewalks and resubmitted the site plan showing the additional sidewalks that were recommended at the meeting, and we're in full agreement with doing that as well. And I'd like to take any questions you have, and he's our engineer. We'd be happy to answer anything that you have questions about.
Appreciate it, gentlemen. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Any members of the public wishing to speak in support? And does either staff or the applicant wish to make a closing summary?
Mayor and Commissioner, I just want to point out, I forgot to add that at the Planning and Zoning Board hearing, a representative of the Windrush 3 condominium was present, the president, and attested to the fact that they had worked with them. This part of the project will be incorporated within the overall condominium and pay its proportionate share and use of the common elements. So I wanted that to be on the record as well.
No other comments. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Sieber,
Yes.
Commissioner Banther?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Larson?
Yes.
Mayor Archie?
Yes, miscellaneous items 12A and 12B has been deferred. Item number 13, updated information wellness center.
What I wanted to add, you have two other documents, really one document with two documents in it that further clarifies the email that you have in the backup. The first one is provided by Bob Cochin. I had him working with Jane Niffen and Clay Austin for the League of Cities to try to break it down and break everything down, break the numbers down. I think it'll help if Bob, if you just go over the first 2 pages, which is yours at the dais and stuff, just go over that for the audience who was watching last time and for the rest of the commissioners to just talk about how the breakdown of the health clinic goes.
Okay. As the city manager mentioned, over the last week I've been working with Quay, Jane, and Ari Walker, and I presented you with a basic outline just to clarify it, to try and simplify it. As we know, the Florida League of Cities represents over 400 cities. They're governed by a board of elected municipal officials. The Florida League provides health care insurance through the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust, FMIT. And basically the trust takes in premiums as revenues and pays out medical expenditures on the program. It carries about a $200 million reserve. And they do contract out with United Healthcare to administer the program. the league was able to do a pilot program, and this is the only one in the state with Tarpon Springs and Oldsmar. And that pilot program allowed the league to use some trust fund dollars to basically pay for the first year costs of the clinic, the administrative costs that I've kind of broken out. They paid for that in the first year for Tarpon and Oldsmar. If you look at the expenses for the wellness program in year one, they break it out in monthly admin fees, monthly clinical staff costs, monthly supplies, labs, RX, etc. And then you have a total monthly cost of $14,303. Obviously, that's an annual cost of $168,360. That's our portion of it. From my understanding, the breakdown is 65 Tarpon, 35 Oldsmar, and that's based on enrollment in the insurance plan through the league. Obviously, Oldsmar is a smaller city than us. The only out-of-pocket cost for Tarpon Springs in year one, which is fixed throughout this contract, was $25,200, and that pays for the lease of the building. If you look, as I continue on page one, for Tarpon Springs, the goal here is obviously to promote wellness, but it's also to cost shift dollars away from FMIT, which results in lower premiums for us. When that happens, as I go through this, basically the center pays for itself and we get a decrease in our premiums. So if you look at year one, I broke it out. Office visits, we had 603 people use the office. The league uses an annual doctor's office visit of $185. That breaks down to $111,555 or $111,555. Prescription costs came to $24,739. And this is an underwriting thing. It's called large claims avoidance. Large claims really hit the trust fund hard. And there's an underwriting calculation that they use. And I put it under there in smaller letters, but 40% of our $2.4 million in claims in FY 2014 were for large claims. The underwriting calculation for that is basically they take 10% of that 40 because they take that total number of what we cost shifted away from the trust of $234,294. They basically say 10% of those dollars are going to offset. So they take this whole formula, they take 40% of the $2.4 million in claims, they calculate that 10% of that, $980,000, would be large claims avoidance on the trust fund. That breaks down to $98,000. So you see there the total cost shifting away from the trust fund is $234,294. Based on the usage of our wellness center, the city of Tarpon Springs benefited from a lower medical insurance premium on 10/1/14 as follows. Of course, this is our renewals for FY 2015. The league looks at trending for insurance premiums, and in the Tampa Bay area, the trend is roughly 10.2%. Medical insurance renewal rates for Tarpon Springs in FY 15 were at 6.2%, or an approximate savings of $111,861. That's a 4% savings off of the trend because of the amount of dollars, that $234,000 that was cost shifted away from medical claims to the trust. The big benefit here is when we look at this trending and we look at this savings, in year two and in year three, the league is not going to pay for those administrative costs, which they estimate at $168,360. But what happens is, in year two, they built in that $168,360 into our renewal claim. So we basically still save 4% off trend. We came in at $111,861 left with the administrative costs for the clinic built in to that premium renewal. So basically, the clinic costs are a wash, and we saved $111,861. And you're promoting wellness all at the same time. That's the goal. Promote wellness. The greater use of this center cost shift more dollars away from the trust fund and basically saves us in premiums and pays for the clinic. Our only fixed cost for the clinic is the annual rent of that $24,000. Let me go back to it. $25,200. That is a fixed cost for us for the years of this contract. That's what we pay. These numbers break down pretty well for the city. It really is a very well-structured program. I do have some other notes in here, basically talking about how they built in the cost, the administrative cost of the clinic into our premium, and we're still saving money because we're off trend. So basically, an explanation of all this, our FY 2014 medical premium was $2.7 million for the city of Tarpon Springs. So if you look at basically our 2015 medical premium, if it were at 10%, which is the Tampa Bay trend, and that was our original budget amount was 10%, we would be at $3.0 million. Our FY 2015 medical premium was basically 4% off trend, which is 6%. So it came in at $2.9 million, and that's how you derive at the $111,861 in savings. I want to point out to you that our actual premium went down a little more because we basically reduced our plan, and there was a lot of reasons for that. It was really like 4.2%. But in all fairness to these numbers, we used the 6%, the 4% off trend to calculate these numbers. So as you can see, these numbers are really beneficial for the city. It's a great way to promote wellness. It's a great way for our employees to use a clinic that's free to them while still basically paying for itself, and the city basically paying $25,000 a year in a lease payment. The last page of an updated memo from Clay basically kind of lays all this out. And, he talks about, point by point. I asked him to kind of put it in bullet points for you. And that would have been the updated memo of December 1st. So he kind of outlines everything that I just talked about and outlined for you. So I'd be glad to take any questions if you have any.
First, I just thank you, Chief, for, I think, a good report and being able to take the numbers and digest them and then report them back to us in a way that at least I can understand. So I just tell you, I appreciate that. I don't know if Commissioner Sleeper, Commissioner Bouncey?
Thank you. Yes, and I too am very grateful that you were able to give us all of these figures. I would hope each year we can get it in this format, and not like the format we had in the previous meeting, and just watch these numbers each year. And since we are in this for at least 2 more years, and I assume beyond that, just to continue to encourage our employees to use it. If we need to have an annual push or something, because obviously, the more people that use this, the more we're going to save. So, but just each year, if we get a report in this format, would be very, very, very helpful. Along with, like I said, some kind of an annual push to remind employees that they have this option.
And we can't stress that enough. The more use of that clinic, the more we save, the more wellness we promote. It's a win-win for us in the league. So that's basically my report.
Thank you. Any public comments on this item? Seeing none, thank you again for that report, and we will conclude this agenda. Chief, you have anything else?
I think I've spoken enough, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing to add, sir.
City Manager.
2 things. The first is I'd like to ask the commission for an executive session for fire negotiations. My request would be for probably, I'd say, an hour before the next commission meeting on the 16th, 5:30. If you approve that, I've got to announce the possible people who are going to be there. It would be the city commissioners, and it would be myself, and probably some or all members of the bargaining unit, which would be Judy Staley, Jay Niffen, Chief Butcher, District Chief Young, and possibly somebody from Thompson Sizemore Gonzalez office, either Aaron Jackson or somebody else. Those are the possible people who would be there. We're at a crossroads in negotiation. We do have another meeting that we're waiting for their response on sometime next week, but I feel after that meeting, we're going to be at a crossroads that I'll need to meet with you on and get some direction on which way to go. So if that's a good date and time for everybody, I'd like to call that for again, 5:30, the 16th, for an hour before the commission meeting, upstairs conference room.
Anybody have any problems with that? I've got it down.
Okay. Secondly, at the 16th meeting, we are going to be bringing to you something we've been working on for a while. The efforts were stepped up with some of our changes in personnel over the spring and summer, and plus something we've been looking at for a while. And again, as development and issues come up, a complete look and a reorganization of the city, responsibilities, duties, reporting. Many of you has brought that up in individual conversations. We need to look at it, streamline, learn from what's been going on. Again, I want to thank Chief Cochin. He knew when we were having all the discussions with the committee about Assistant City Manager that we did have some issues to help on. He's come over and helped me, and he's one of the ones who's kind of spearheaded with mainly Tom Function and Paul Smith. This also needs to be done because we have to set up the manpower for the new water plant that's going to be open. So this is a combination for the new water plant. It's for efficiency in operation, efficiency with products, and it's a complete change throughout the organization. I wanted to get the packet to you, which you have on the desk, plenty of time, so you'd have this week to look at it. Maybe next week, if any of you want to have those department heads get with you and sit down with some questions where we're going to something. So, but I want you to have the draft, and again, it's a draft, there may be some changes, but I want you to have the draft, so you have at least this week to look at it, and then next week to set up a meeting with everybody to go in each individual area and look at all the I think it's a great plan. It's going to add more efficiencies. It is going to accountability on projects, reporting, who people report to, and the money is not a great deal of money. And plus, again, incorporating the water plant, and I think you'll like the structure. It's a structure that is that we'll talk about, but we're not going to be talking about eliminating positions or people. There may be one or two who need to compete for the job, but they are fully wanting to step up. It's going to offer an opportunity of a lot of people, in some cases that we'll explain, to go underfill or be an apprentice to learn skills and get training to move up, especially when we're talking about the water, and we're going to offer that to our city employees to do first. So it's going to be training, advancement of city employees, accountability. It's a whole package. Again, we've been, talking about this for probably 6 to 9 months, and really the last 2 months, Chief Cochin has really got with everybody, and we've brainstormed and changed and talked about it. So again, that's the packet to look at, and next week call and to set up some individual ones before we get to it the 16th, because it's involved, it's pretty involved, but I think you'll see pretty fast the advantages, and it's something, again, a lot of you in different areas have been talking about for a while to come to fruition, and this is the perfect time with a lot of changeovers and stuff to do it and start it. So that's what that packet is that you have on the dais.
Madam Clerk.
No comments.
Commissioner Bowser.
No comments.
Vice Mayor.
No comments.
Commissioner Silver.
No comments.
My only comment is that I just want to thank staff first for the improvements as far as now the new tennis courts up at Dorset Park, new lights, those type of things. I'm not sure who's in charge of maintenance out that way.
Probably Mr. Function.
I get with him. There's some things that we need to do that I think could further enhance what we have going out there, but I think that it was a good job. We didn't do any ribbon cutting. It was one that was a replacement, but it really is an added addition to that park out there. So, with that, we will adjourn this meeting at 7:38. And if I had my gavel, I would hit it, but since I don't,